The 31st of October is a date many muggles know all too well, Halloween, the day for dressing up, carving pumpkins, and simply celebrating all things spooky. For Harry Potter, Halloween became a haunting part of his life from an early age for a very different reason. In fact, the eerie date seemed to follow him around and became a significant part of his life. In the Harry Potter series, there's a similar turning point, Halloween, and it's not just the pumpkin juice and cauldron cakes that set it apart. Something often happens on Halloween itself that completely changes the rest of the school year at Hogwarts. The significance of Halloween is evident in the majority of the Harry Potter books. Something pivotal always seems to happen on Halloween. This one goes back nearly 500 years before the first book even takes place, but Nearly Headless Nick plays a role in many future Halloween events, so it's important to know that he died on this day in 1492. He was executed after a teeth-straightening spell he performed went wrong, but after being terrified of death, he came back as a ghost and now lives at Hogwarts as the Gryffindor house ghost. We'll come back to Nearly Headless Nick later in the video for yet another memorable Halloween. This is where the series truly begins. Lord Voldemort stormed Godric's Hollow and callously murdered Lily and James Potter on Halloween in 1981, with Harry being the only one to ever survive a killing curse, as it rebounded onto Voldemort. This date would become legendary in two very different ways. While Harry lost his parents and was forced into a miserable life with the Dursleys, the rest of the Wizarding World celebrated their newfound peace, as the First Wizarding War was finally put to an end, with Voldemort seemingly vanquished. The entire series is based on this one moment, so it's a pretty important Halloween and not just for Harry. The date of that fateful night was revealed when Harry visited his parents' graves for the very first time. Exactly 1 decade later, on a very different Halloween, Harry experienced a far more traditional night of festivities, his first as a wizard and student at Hogwarts. In Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, a harrowing run-in with a troll cements Harry, Ron and Hermione's friendship on Halloween. But Harry, Ron and Hermione found themselves caught up in a fight against an unleashed troll, which actually turned out to be another hugely important moment in Harry's life. It was this day that the trio was formed, which turned out to be one of the most iconic trios ever. Despite the unusual circumstances, Harry and Ron, who had earlier in the day insulted Hermione in typical Ron fashion, saved Hermione's life, thus forging a legendary friendship. Halloween that year was also the first time Professor Flitwick taught the Wingardium Leviosa spell, which Ron later used to help defeat the troll. Remember our previous mention of Nearly Headless Nick? Fast forward to Harry's second year at Hogwarts in 1992. Sir Nicholas de Mimsy Porpington's Death Day party took place in one of the roomier dungeons at Hogwarts. It was attended by many ghosts, Harry Potter, Ronald Weasley and Hermione Granger, making it an eventful Halloween experience for Harry indeed. In Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Ginny Weasley opens Slytherin's chamber on Halloween, the first time it's been opened in 50 years, thus releasing the basilisk which wreaked havoc on the school and more specifically Muggleborns, in yet another attempt of Voldemort trying to rid the Wizarding World of anyone who wasn't pureblood. This event alone led to a tremendous discovery by Harry, and would be the third time he would come face to face with Voldemort, even if it was just a mere memory stuck in a diary from 50 years earlier. In Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Sirius Black sneaks into Hogwarts on Halloween, causing school-wide panic, beginning with the Fat Lady. Sirius Black had finally made his escape from Azkaban prison, and Hogwarts was put under lockdown as the Wizarding World was under the impression that a dangerous criminal was on the loose. Sirius broke into the castle on Halloween night, entering Gryffindor Tower in search of Ron's rat Scabbers, who would later be revealed to be Peter Pettigrew, the true traitor and double agent who turned on Lily and James Potter. It was also during this time that Harry learned that Sirius Black was indeed his godfather, and wasn't the cause of his parents' deaths, like he was made to believe. Halloween in 1993 is also the first time the third-year students are allowed to visit Hogsmeade, and as always, the day has some huge revelations for Harry. Harry's name is mysteriously entered into the Goblet of Fire on Halloween night. He is ultimately forced to participate in the incredibly dangerous Triwizard Tournament, despite being underage. The tournament ends with Voldemort's return, and the series as a whole takes a turn for the worse, and as such it is one of the pivotal moments for Harry Potter and the entire series. But what about the missing Halloweens? There's no real fanfare or event for Halloween in the last 3 books, but when it comes to Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Halloween is important for its absence more than its presence. Because there's no important Halloween event, this is part of what sets a somber tone for this particular story. While not directly related to Halloween, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows does hint at it. The word Hallows is derived from All Hallows' Eve, a day dedicated to remembering the dead, thus hinting at the origin of Halloween itself. As Harry approaches his final battle with Voldemort, he not only remembers the dead but encounters them again as they walk him through the final battle. Finally, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows is based on the 3 Hallows in Beedle the Bard's Tale, which, when combined, helps the owner combat death itself. Halloween in the final year arrives at the exact right moment, to signal that we've no longer just arrived at Hogwarts. The year is beginning in earnest, and that means that the action is just picking up. In the final adventure, everything's changed, and Harry, Ron and Hermione enjoy none of the familiar comforts of Hogwarts. Perhaps Halloween passing without any recognition only seems fitting, as there's no real recognition of the holidays at all until Harry and Hermione visit Godric's Hollow to discover that Christmas Eve has arrived without them even realizing it. This itself seems significant as it sets a dark tone for the events leading up to the final battle with Voldemort. Without the events of Harry's various Halloweens, the Harry Potter series would be unrecognizable. If you look closely, Halloween turns out to be an especially significant day in Harry Potter's life, and who he eventually becomes at the end of the series.